I don't believe that there's any such thing as a perfect crime.
They are the team the FBI calls in to track the clues.
We're the folks that you see inside the yellow line.
The FBI's evidence response teams, the ERTs.
The important evidence that's left behind was our job.
Tonight, they will work against the clock to save the lives of a wealthy businessman's kidnapped wife and 2 children.
Valuable time could be the difference between life or death.
When the baby becomes restless, Christine Aragao leaves the party early with 2 of her children.
Mr. Aragao didn't want Mrs. Aragao to walk across the street with it for the children, and what he did was he offered his Porsche for her to drive, which according to Mr. Aragao, she never drove the Porsche.
When Alciu Aragao returns home, his wife and children are missing. The car that Christine had driven home, Alciu's Porsche, is back in its parking place. But another car she also never drives, the Lincoln Navigator, is gone, and that alerts Aragao that his wife and children may be in danger.
Mr. Aragao comes back downstairs, gets into his Ferrari, and drives up and down Collins Avenue looking for his family.
After a futile, frantic search for his wife, Alciu Aragao calls the police. Detective Paul Manzella, on duty that night, goes to the garage to look for any signs of foul play.
When I first got to the Oceania location, I had requested that the crime scene technician respond to the scene to conduct his investigation of photographs and documenting the evidence. While going through the crime scene, I was able to see small droplets of blood.
There were some brush marks on a vehicle that was adjacent to the parked vehicle, and there was a scuff mark as if a shoe where someone had possibly been drugged. Something had happened in that parking garage.
All signs point to a kidnapping.
Of course, we were waiting on a phone call. If it was a kidnapping, there was no immediate call acknowledging we have your wife, we have your children, this is why we have them, this is what we want.
Our resources at the Sunny Isles Beach Police Department were limited. I suggested that maybe we contact the FBI for assistance.
Yes, Special Agent Steve Warner, please.
Jim Lewis, now in his 3rd year with the FBI, is assigned to the case.
My squad supervisor, Steve Warner, told me that a woman and her 2 small children had possibly been kidnapped.
The Miami FBI and local police join forces, and after a preliminary look at the scene, the Bureau calls in its crime scene specialists.
There was a request made for the evidence recovery team to assist.
The Evidence Response Team, or ERTs, are the forensic arm of the FBI. Scientists with badges, the ERTs are trained to put a crime scene under the microscope.
If it's there, they're going to find it. I can guarantee you that if it's there, they're going to find it. If they don't find it, it's because it's not there.
Start at 1 and go through.
ERTs are trained at the FBI Academy and in its new laboratory in Quantico, Virginia, to find and collect evidence, leaving no fiber or blood spot behind.
A crime scene's really going to tell you what happened during the crime itself. There is something that's going to be left behind at any crime scene. It's just a matter of us being able to find that evidence.
Scott Hahn is the Miami ERT's coordinator and oversees 4 ERT teams.
I started off as a dentist. I had a lot of patients who were police officers and who were special agents with FBI and other agencies, and I always liked Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. on TV. Seemed like a cool guy.
We provided security for the Aragao family at their condominium because we didn't know how many players there were, and we weren't quite sure if it was Mr. Aragao or the wife and children that the bad guys were looking for.
Detective Manzella and Agent Lewis concentrate on their best lead, the missing Lincoln Navigator. They create a Be on the Lookout, or BOLO, for the SUV and for Christine Aragao and her 2 sons.
From the sheriff's ramp like Charlie Southwest.
We found out that the Navigator was equipped with a low jack,
A LoJack is a homing device designed to track stolen vehicles.
We asked that the Broward County Sheriff's Office do an area canvass with the helicopter, knowing that the LoJack had been installed in Mr. Aragao's Navigator.
They were able to pinpoint an area, not the exact location, which is unfortunate because the LoJack ceased to function for whatever reason. They were able to kind of narrow it down to a certain area, and then it stopped.
Their leads are nearly exhausted, and time is running out. Then suddenly at 2 p.m. comes the call that agents have been waiting for. But to their surprise, the voice at the other end of the line isn't one of the kidnappers.
It was Christina stating that she was okay, and that Mr. Aragao was not to call the police.
Eu vou ligar depois. Beijo. Cadê o Júnior? Tá aqui do meu lado.
The calls were in Portuguese, so we enlisted the help of a Portuguese translator.
Você não pode falar com a polícia. Nada. Eu tô te ligando, senão eu vou ficar aqui forever.
Tá bom, tá bom.
It appeared as though she was talking to someone else in the background, or someone else was feeding her information to say.
At the very least, we knew that Christine was alive and she was somewhere.